The knock came at exactly 3:03 a.m. Not a polite tap, not the dull thud of the wind rattling the door, but a sharp, deliberate knock that echoed through the tiny cabin. Sylvia shot upright in bed, her heart hammering against her ribs. The clock on the nightstand cast a weak green glow, and in that moment she wished she hadn't come alone. Her phone was dead, of course. A perfect detail for the perfect horror movie. She clenched the blanket around her shoulders and waited, holding her breath as the seconds crawled by. Maybe it had been a branch. Maybe her imagination. Then it came again. Louder this time. Across the room, Charlie stirred. The dog, a brave shepherd mix who normally barked at everything, didn't growl or move toward the sound. Instead, he whimpered and backed further into the corner, his tail tucked tight between his legs. Sylvia felt a cold wave of dread ripple down her spine. She swung her legs out of bed, the wooden floor icy against her feet. Her hand found the flashlight on the nightstand and she clicked it on, its weak beam trembling as much as she was. "Who's there?" she called, her voice steadier than she felt. Silence. Not even the hum of the forest, no wind, no insects, just a vast, yawning quiet. Sylvia swallowed hard and edged toward the door, her hand gripping the flashlight like a lifeline. She leaned closer, listening, and then it came again. 3 sharp knocks, followed by a scrape that made her skin crawl. It sounded like fingernails dragging across wood. "Hello?" Her voice cracked. "If this is some kind of joke, it's not funny." Behind her, Charlie whined again, pawing at the wall like he was desperate to dig his way out. Sylvia glanced back at him, her stomach twisting. She'd never seen him like this. He wasn't scared. He was terrified. The scraping stopped. A new sound replaced it. Breathing. Slow, heavy, and just on the other side of the door. Sylvia's fingers hovered over the doorknob. She felt a bizarre pull to open it, to see what was waiting, but the voice in the back of her mind screamed not to. Sylvia. Her name came in a rasp, low and guttural. She stumbled back, the flashlight slipping from her grasp and clattering to the floor. The beam spun wildly, casting erratic shadows across the cabin. She grabbed the chair nearest to her and wedged it under the doorknob, her breath coming in gasps. "Go away," she shouted, her voice thick with panic. The breathing stopped. The silence was worse. She stood frozen, listening, until a new noise cut through the air, a faint, wet slithering like something sliding down the walls outside. Sylvia's legs felt like lead, but she forced herself to move. She darted toward the window, pulling the curtain aside just enough to peek out. The flashlight's beam caught something, someone. Moving. A figure, pale and bent, disappearing into the tree line. Its limbs were wrong, too long, bending in unnatural angles. It turned once to glance back at the cabin, and Sylvia barely stifled a scream. Its eyes, empty black holes, leaking shadows that seemed to writhe and twist. Then it was gone. Sylvia stumbled back from the window, her pulse pounding so hard she thought her chest might burst. She clutched Charlie to her, the dog trembling violently against her arms. "It's okay," she whispered, though the lie tasted bitter. "It's gone, it's gone." But the knock came again.